I should have prepared for this. I knew it was coming. Okay. Shut up, Evan. Shut up, Evan. Shut the fuck up, Evan.
Wow. I like the whisper.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's your favorite?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. I've never seen it in a glass.
I'm not going to have this on camera. It looks like I'm drinking, like, it looks like it's kind of piss.
They say that drinking your own pee is really healthy, actually.
It's like sperm on the face and drinking pee.
Wow. Okay, am I allowed to drink this on
You're allowed to drink. We're not CBS Sunday morning. But you just met Oprah.
I just met Oprah.
How was that for you? I feel like that would be, like, spiritual.
Yeah, she's very, like, touchy-feely.
I was going to say, I saw the video and she was, like,
she has a
up in
very
it.
firm, I was going to say handshake, but she didn't shake my hand. She shook my, like, back or whatever. She, like, held me tight. I felt the warmth.
I mean, you've had a lot of run-ins. I witnessed you having a lot of run-ins just this past weekend, but I feel like there's something about Oprah and the Oprah touch that I feel like is anointing in a sense.
Completely. I feel completely different. I feel like I need to walk around with a crown now.
Yeah, I understand.
And also, it was completely unexpected. Like, I did not know I was going to meet. I did not know she was there this morning. I saw her on the monitor before going on, and I assumed she would just leave, but apparently she waited.
Did you ever think that you would be in a situation, because I mean, I feel like meeting Oprah crazy, you were in a situation where Oprah waits for you.
Oprah met me.
Oprah met you. I've always lived life with like this, the pretense of like Oprah waits for no one, but Oprah waits for François.
She's incredibly normal.
Yeah, we're all just human.
Yeah.
I know at the end of the day. So, first of all, thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to chat with you.
So happy to chat with you.
I feel like in having this conversation, I am closing the loop. You are the last of the 4 Heated Rivalry boys, men, that I've had the opportunity to talk to. And I feel like in doing so, I'm completing the arc.
Well, you've done very well by my friends, and I thank you for it.
Oh, well, thank you. I hope to do well today by you.
They're watching.
Now, it's interesting, right? The circumstance of all of this. And what I mean by that is typically when you're on a TV show, and you've been on quite a few TV shows, you do a press run in the lead up to
the show.
The premiere. Yeah, right? And so you're talking about the show, and the idea being that you're previewing it for an audience who hasn't seen it. So you're selling the show, right? In the hope of, I'm going to talk about this show and try to convince you to watch it, right? Because at the end of the day, what is all press? It is trying to get people to access the art that you made. Barely a press tour happened in the lead up to the show. I know you did some Canadian press.
HBO bought the show 2 weeks ahead of the premiere.
Show comes out. It's a 5-week run because the first 2 episodes air together. And this is between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so it's like we're all winding down for the holiday season. Did you do any press during the run of the show?
Some, yeah. And we weirdly thought that once all the episodes had aired, it would kind of die down.
Yeah,
and
that's what typically happens.
yeah, that's not been happening.
No. So December 26th is the finale. We're nearly a month later, and not only has the conversation not died down, but you boys are on like an all-out press blitz. Like, you are everywhere. And I mean in the complimentary sense. You are everywhere because people want you to be everywhere. And so what has that been like for you as someone who's done the press cycle before, is accustomed to how this traditionally works, and is seeing how this is not that?
Well, I love that you're reminding me that I don't have to sell the show.
No, yeah.
It's done.
Done, yeah.
Sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone I've been talking to today has seen it like 4 times.
Oprah.
I don't know about Oprah. I think Oprah's busy.
I don't know.
Maybe twice.
I feel like Gail's reaction to the show during your interview, which I just watched on the way over here, indicates to me that Gail picked up the phone and said, Oprah, you gotta watch the show.
Yeah, and it's weird because I've done like quite a few TV shows that were poised to be way bigger than this was, like with movie stars and on big networks, Showtime, Apple, NBC. And then at one point I thought, oh, maybe I'm just a bad luck charm, like it's not. And they never kind of, some of them had an audience, but never on this level. And it's not like I was chasing fame in any way. I would have chosen different projects if that was the case. But for this to happen to this with a show that we made so closely together, that felt like an intimate personal project. I've known Jacob Tierney for 17 years. It's just his baby. He was writer, director, producer on set. Didn't have to ask permission to anyone if he wanted to change the order on the call sheet. Like, there's no one to call but him. And it's not that it felt small. It never felt small. It just felt like a family project. And for it to reach this kind of audience and to have so much legs, if it's really hard to process.
And it feels like it keeps breaking new barriers of containment. That's something I've observed where, like, it obviously felt huge while it was airing. Like, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
I've never seen something quite like this. And now here we are weeks after the run, and it continues to feel like it's eclipsing its own stratospheric success. Can you think of the last instance where you witnessed a phenomenon like this?
I feel like White Lotus
Yeah,
was
that's what
kind
comes to
of
mind, yeah.
like that for me. And I was certainly like part of the fandom, and I'm available for the French season if they're still.
And you speak the language.
I speak the language.
Yeah, convenient. What's interesting, too, to me about all of this is that, you know, these other three boys, they are relatively green to the industry. But you've done this before. I mean, I believe your first credit is from 2006. Is that correct? Television credit?
That can't be.
It can't
that
be.
can't be because I graduated drama school, acting school in 2007. So it's got to be close to that.
Okay.
I mean, approaching 20 years.
I was going to say 2 decades. I feel like 2 decades just sounds,
Okay. Is it, yeah.
you know.
Shorter? It's 2.
You're a baby. Yeah.
I'm a baby. God, barely old enough to be here.
Exactly.
On my own.
Exactly. But we got you here. So I feel like you are in an especially unique position because you have a proximity to all of this through your lived experience, and yet this is sort of different than anything you've ever experienced.
It's weird because when I was a much younger actor, a greener actor, let's go with green.
Green.
Let's go with green. There were moments where I thought that like something approaching this level of attention or scrutiny was going to happen. Like I tested for 50 Shades of Grey, for instance. And I was like, oh, am I ready to sign my life away in a sense? And I was like incredibly fearful of that happening. That's not really what I wanted. Like the opportunities that would come with a job like that, and then being able to choose my projects, but never. I don't know. I always like valued normalcy and real life and real relationships, and when you're talking about the other three who are greener in their acting experience and body of work, and there's a part of me that is a bit worried for them because I think they're just incredibly different people. I don't think I would have been ready for that. And I'm, in a way, thankful that it didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
At that age, I'd probably be dead. But I don't feel like I need to protect them or defend them or that I have anything to teach them. I mean, other than like on an equal level, be there and have like friendly exchanges about that but they're so well equipped. I mean, Hudson's a rock star. Like, unbelievably so.
It's wild. Yeah.
Wild.
When you were when you were greener.
Greener, let's go.
New nomenclature. When you were greener, did you want people at some point to understand who you were? Did you ever have the desire to be perceived? And I ask this because that's sort of a byproduct of this kind of fame. And it doesn't mean that you have like reached a stratosphere of fame, because there are tons of incredibly famous people who we know very little about. But now I think there's been a shift in terms of this fandom in wanting to know, now that we've consumed the show, people are looking for new things to consume.
There's only 6 episodes. We need more.
And so I think I've noticed the lens kind of turning over to you guys and people wanting to consume more about you and your past work, which is wonderful, but also your personal lives.
It's very strange because finding acting kind of saved my life in a way. I was very lonely and, different as a teenager, I think, than other people, just the way I like interacted with the world and with like empathy in general. Like it wasn't cool. Like I cared too much, so I wasn't cool. It gave me a way to be perceived, but with to use this mask of acting as a way to present myself to the world. And that's still kind of, I mean, I love the, like, you know, dressing up, play pretend, like all of that. Like I like it, but truly, like, it's an outlet for me to express who I am through different characters and through, but never did I want or seek fame for like who I was. I was never like a showman, you know? I wasn't one of those kids that were like, oh, he was singing for the whole family at Christmas. And like that's not my way into acting, you know? Like I'm not a performer in that way. Acting was always like something kind of intimate for me. Even if I'm playing like a loud character, there's something that is like that I'm not allowing myself to be, and so this is my opening. Yeah, so it's odd to have like, you know, even this, like this whole process, like it's a whole it's something that I'm learning still. Yeah. I don't believe it'll ever be the like my favorite place, you know, to like be myself in front of an audience. And some people tell you like, oh, well, you can just show up on a red carpet imagining that you're that character that you played or that you're like a movie. And I'm like, well, I don't really want that either. Yeah. It would feel phony. So it's just like a constant conversation with myself.
I mean, this is like a constant thought pattern of mine doing the work that I do, which is that I also, just because of the nature of those who came before me, feel like I am compelled to ask you aspects of your personal life. And the reason being is because the belief is that these details about your personal life will likely inform who you are as a performer. In no other, and I bring this up a lot, but I bring it up because it's so fascinating to me, in no other vocation would you sit down and do an interview and be asked about your personal life. If I was interviewing a doctor, a lawyer, what have you, I would never ask you, you know, what was your childhood like? And yet, here I am thinking, I want to know about your childhood because you've got a short About Me section on your Wikipedia right now. Interestingly, your filmography and your television credits are extensive. So that's actually good.
So I succeeded.
You have succeeded.
I did the thing that I wanted to do.
Yes.
A short About Me section and an extensive filmography.
Exactly. But I am curious to learn a little bit more about your upbringing. You know, from what you just conveyed, I get the sense, were you a quieter kid?
I was a chaotic kid, like a chaotic toddler. Like I'm sure my parents didn't have it easy. Like strong emotions I didn't know what to do with. You know, like I'm sure like I would scream and like break things and, you know, like as a toddler. In school, I think it changed a little bit. I was like hanging out with the cool kids, and I think I was cool for about like a second. And then they decided I wasn't. Like it was, I also went, it was in Canada, in Montreal, all French language education. I was a choir boy, but not because we're Catholic. My parents were staunch atheists. It was just a music school, and so I was sent there, and I would have to sing at church every Sunday, and it's all boys, so very, very much, you know, like a super masculine like world. Even though we're like supposed to be like little angels, it was not like that. I then went to like an all-American, even though it's in Canada, high school where like the football jocks and the cheerleaders were cool. And I was like listening to like Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell, and I'm not that old, but it was my parents' music. It was my parents' music. Empathetic artists, curious about the human experience, and like that's what I related to, and so like that made me kind of a sensitive, empathetic kid. And I went to a school where like the cool thing to do was to be mean and to like bully the losers, and I never like fell into that. But so when the cool kids ditched me, the losers didn't want to hang out with me either because I was associated with the bullies. And so I just like I took a really long time for me to find my people, and it didn't really happen until I found acting.
Choir. Does this mean that you sing?
I can sing. Yeah, I can sing. It's a different, like, I'm not a musical theater kid at all.
Okay.
Like, that's not the culture up there
Okay.
in the North.
Okay.
And it's not the type of music that I listen to. I don't know any show tunes. I know On My Own. That's the only one.
It's a great one.
I have like a raspier, kind of folkier voice.
Okay. So if Jacob comes around and wants to do like a musical episode.
Leonard Cohen biopic, yes.
Oh, about Leonard Cohen biopic. Okay.
We don't look alike enough, I think.
Got it. On this friendship with Jacob, you said you've been friends for 17 years. I'm wondering what it's like to watch your friend, who I have to imagine you have a belief in his creative prowess.
Always did.
And to watch the show find success, let's take that out of the conversation.
Yeah.
Let's focus just on the quality of the show.
Uh-huh.
To watch someone that you've known for so long get to perfect their art in such a way. And let's be clear, Jacob's
He's
been
been
making
doing
incredible-
really
yes.
great, strong work for a long time. This isn't
Absolutely.
like the first time that
Truly, shout out to Shorzy, shout out to Letterkenny, absolutely.
and his movies, The Trotsky, Good Neighbors,
yes.
love them.
But to watch this show be so critically well regarded, I really do feel like people are appreciating the depth of the camera work and the needle drops and the costumes.
The costumes, the attention to details.
Exactly. And so, you've known him, I imagine, longer than most people involved with this production. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering what it's like to watch someone achieve. I don't want to call it his dream. I don't know if it's his dream, but to achieve making something so creatively top of the mountain.
Like, I had blind trust in Jacob for this because I know that whatever angle was his was gonna, like, I knew that he saw things in the source material that I hadn't read the books, but what I knew was that it was like a smutty, sexy, erotic romance, and normally I know that Jacob reads Dostoevsky, so I was like, so what are we like? What's your take here? And I think one of the reasons why the show is so successful is that he doesn't like. There's in no way does he mock the material, or like it's not. He doesn't make it kind of tongue in cheek, or like he takes it very seriously and honors the material and the audience that it speaks to, and by doing that, like, ended up talking to everyone. It's so strange, and yet I knew that I could completely trust him to, like, lean into the feelings of this without fear that it would turn out cheesy, because I knew that his musical taste is impeccable. We've shared like playlists for years, and his music taste is really like weirdly more like less emotional and hard on its sleeve than mine. So I knew it would just sort of add an edge to the show.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely, like, no asshole policy on set. Everybody was a charm. We wrapped an hour early every day because he knew what he wanted. And he's like, that confidence too, to not like try to like and working with young actors, green actors, like he's not like trying to like suck everything out of them. He's just like completely trusting of his cast, of and his crew, and he would just like he would stay in the wide for 5 seconds if that's what he needed, and then stay in the close up for those two lines, and so we were never behind, panicked. It never felt like, people keep saying, oh, this is just like a tiny little Canadian show. It never felt small. It felt like right where it needed to be.
Mm. And I think it's notable what you're talking about the onset experience of making it, because I know for me, so many formative shows of my youth I have learned in adulthood were challenging sets, were traumatic experiences for people involved, and it has really tainted my ability to enjoy a lot of formative media.
I mean, totally. Like, one of my favorite movies and performances was Last Tango in Paris, and you're like, well, I'm gonna have to reconsider that. It's been on my list of things to sort of rewatch in that context and see, like, knowing how that came to be? Does it change my appreciation of it? And maybe I haven't, like, I've stayed away from it. I mean, I still love, like, so many movies by problematic people, and it's a weird thing, but I think we kind of fetishize that as artists, like how difficult something is sort of going to be translated into the like level of quality that it achieves.
Right. Do you kind of mean like the more difficult it is to make, the more difficult the process is, the rigor that the intensity might actually find itself a positive way into the product?
Before I was an actor, when I was just like a movie a cinephile, I would go to like film festivals and try to like meet Larry Clark in hopes that he would like cast me in something, you know? And I have no idea how Larry Clark's sets are, but you know, I guess one can imagine that they're not like, you know, easy breezy. There was something about it that I thought, like, the grit of it attracted me. I was like, I don't know. There was you like romanticize that process, like how hard it is. Torturous process will lead to like better quality.
Well, and we have instances in which we know that to be the case.
Well, no, we know that we don't know that it's because it was torturous that it became good.
True.
It was torturous and it was still good.
Yes, that, yeah.
But this experience proves to me that there is no necessity. And also, I don't care anymore. And I felt very differently 15 years ago. I work with an asshole because it might bring out something in me that and now I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm just lazy. I know that there's so many talented people that I admire who are also lovely human beings and care about other people feeling safe. And also, like, it informs what and who I want to be as an actor for my partners, my scene partners. Like, for me, a good scene comes from whatever happens, like, in the space between two people. It's not about, like, hogging the blanket. I know so many really gifted actors who will play the whole scene, like looking at the matte box all the time, and like it's just like super rehearsed, you know exactly what it's going to be, and it can give an incredible performance. I'm not interested in that process. I want to like be incredibly prepared, know what I want to do, but I want to show up and for the other person to change me, and like for the other person to like let themselves be changed by that. Like, we're finding it together. Sorry, maybe I think I'm on the Actors Studio or something.
No, I like it. You mentioned that you were a cinephile, which is so interesting because I feel like, especially with Connor and Hudson, I spoke to both of them, and like they are both such cinephiles.
I mean, incredible. I was so impressed by their knowledge of like 80s, 90s cinema. I mean, you know, they say that like people don't watch movies anymore. They don't have the attention span. Certainly not these two.
I think there's a lot of things that I've been made to believe about young people because I've been told young people are this way.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, before Heated Rivalry, I remember reading all these headlines that was like, Gen Z doesn't like sex. Gen Z like, rejects sex. And then this show comes along, very sex-positive show. People are loving it from all different generations.
So Gen Z is loving it, right? Yeah.
The impression I get is like, everyone's loving it. Needless to say, in seeing this example, I was like, why do I believe some article that came out with some statistic from God knows where all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, this whole generation doesn't like sex. It's like, I think it's easy sometimes to assume it's like, wow, no one's watching old movies, no one's blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait a minute, maybe Connor and Hudson, maybe like this example of these young cinephiles, maybe there's like a swarm of them everywhere, and I just assume
but they're also like
no
fully like grown, like, you know, they're 25 and 26. Like, they're not. When I'm saying like I was a young cinephile, I'm talking like when I was like 16 or 17, right? Like discovered. But I'm sure like Hudson and Connor started that at that age, because to have that culture, that film culture, by the time you're 25, you need to start young.
Yeah. So what were you watching at 16, 17? Was that the age you were when you kind of began your movie journey?
I think I began like a little before that. My dad took me to the movies a lot when I was a kid. But I guess I was going to say it was more like commercial Hollywood things, but not really, because being French, we also like saw a lot of European films. But then I worked at a video store when I was 17, and that was like my favorite job other than acting that I've ever had. And it was like a tiny art house video store. And we were like, I think my shift ended at midnight, and I would take 3 movies home and watch them all night, and then like sleep in the morning and go back. And we were also like quite provocative because here I go. We would play the Dreamers, the Dreamers. And then I remember like there was one guy who, when he walked in, we put the Dreamers on, and then he like stayed there, watched the whole movie.
I get it.
In the store. You know that movie Empire Records?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like that, but for a video store.
I think there's a discoverability component that came with a video store in being in this place and immersed with all of this media and having to look around. You only can pick 3 per night. You're kind of like, okay, which 3 is it going to be? And that's sort of like a lost art. And obviously there's a lot of virtues to streaming, right? It's like the accessibility is great.
Is it though? Sometimes like sometimes I'll look for a movie to watch for like an hour and then give up.
I know.
I don't know. There's like too many options. Also, when you're actually looking for like a specific movie, you can't find it.
Or there's like some movies where you're like, this is a famous movie and it's so inaccessible, I get worried. I even heard that like now they just take media and just suck it out of the internet.
Oh, because it's occupying too much space on the cloud?
Right? Who fucking knows? But like, for instance, I heard that the first season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey was just removed from Peacock. And I'm just like, if The Real Housewives of New Jersey season 1...
That is film history right there.
It is.
Marty Scorsese has to say something about that.
He needs to speak out about this. But no, if that can happen, sometimes I'm just like, I wonder, it's already can be hard enough to seek out certain media. And it's like, can it just disappear?
Yeah, if Real Housewives are getting lost, what's happening to Claire Denis movies?
Exactly. Do you ever dabble in Real Housewives?
No, I'm not a big reality person. I really don't know anything about it. And it's not because I'm a snob, which maybe I am, but that's not the reason. I find reality TV boring.
What about reality comp? And do you categorize that under the same umbrella?
I don't know what that is.
Reality competition.
Competition.
So like Jacob Tierney, for instance, works on The Traitors Canada.
Never watched it.
Never watched it.
No
Not
interest.
interested. Fair enough.
I watched Love on the Spectrum. I really like that. Is that, I don't know. That's like a documentary series?
No, that's reality. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm a fan.
I feel like they would be big fans of yours.
Oh.
Yeah.
God, can we organize it?
Yeah, we'll do a little meetup. With all the free time you have, we'll make a Love on the Spectrum meetup.
I'm a really big fan of the parents on that show, too.
Incredible.
That makes me tear up, actually.
There's something about, and again, let's correlate Love on the Spectrum with Heated Rivalry here. There's something about watching parents unabashedly loving their children that, here's the thing. I found it, and I'll relate this to Heated Rivalry, I found it like revelatory. And I don't mean that because I didn't experience love as a child. That's not what I'm saying. And yet there's something about watching a parent with a child who is in any sense other, and it can be their sexuality, a myriad of things. And when a parent just chooses to love their child, it, for me, I'm speaking on my behalf, it somehow can feel a little radical. And I'm like, what's that about? Because it shouldn't be, right? It should be innate. But do you get that sense? I mean, people are obviously having such a strong reaction to the parents on the show. And I'm not just talking about Shane's parents. I mean, even with Kip's dad as well.
Oh, yeah. Kip's dad's a fan
Love
favorite,
Kip's
right?
dad.
Yeah. I think things changed for me when I realized that my parents were people and not just like their role as my parents. And I think that I find that very moving when I see that on screen too. What's very moving about Shane's mom telling him that like she's the one who failed him in a way because she didn't make it a welcoming enough environment that he would feel free to be who he is, then it's like her admitting a flaw, and I find that like more moving actually than just her just being like entirely supportive from the get-go. Like it's just like, oh, I could have done more, I could have been more, and I guess that reflects a little bit my relationship with my parents.
Were there any like formative depictions of queer characters or queer stories that in your youth that really stuck with you, or that really had an effect on who you would become?
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of parents, I was like 16, I think, when Y Tu Mamá También came out, and I went and saw that at the movies with my mother. sitting next to my mother and wanted to die.
And not exactly a family film.
Not a family film at all. It's since like I then like saw it again a couple months later and was like, God, this is one of my favorite movies ever. But it was just torture to watch that next to my mom. Almost as torturous as it would be, I think, to watch Heated Rivalry next to my mom.
But has mom seen it?
Yeah, I think she's watching. But like they're pretty, yeah. Yeah, mom's seen it. Dad's seen it. I don't know actually. You want to call him?
Yeah, we can call him on the pod. Well, for me, I Killed My Mother was a really important film for me. And also, I feel like I Killed My Mother was a really important film for Tumblr. Are you aware of this?
I've heard that recently, but I'm not sure I know what Tumblr is,
Yeah.
and I'm not really sure I understand like how that was meaningful or how I was all over Tumblr in 2014 or something.
I found the film via GIFs on Tumblr and still images, and this was the power of Tumblr. And again, you have to recognize at this time we weren't getting a ton of depictions of gay sex, gay lovemaking, gay relationships, gay intimacy. And so when you would see something like that, you'd be like, I need to seek this out. This is saying something to me. This is for me. It's speaking to me. I must find it. I could give my synopsis of the film, but I'm more curious for you two. How would you describe the film?
Xavier Dolan. So he made this movie as kind of a self-portrait, like an exaggerated version of himself, and his conflictual relationship with his mom, like too close for comfort, really, and his emancipation from that through, finding art and sex and love. And, to this day, I think that it's Xavier's, like, certainly one of his top movies.
Absolutely.
He saw me at a play I was doing in drama school, and he came twice to see the play, and he wanted to go for coffee, and I didn't know him, and I was like, no. And third time he came, he told me, I'm a writer and a director, and he also looked. He was 17 and looked 15, So he just handed me the script and he said, read this, we're going to Cannes with it. And I did read it. And then I guess he must have had his phone number on it. So I called him and I said, okay, let's go for coffee. And, he did go to Cannes with it. That's
He sure did?
Yeah.
Would you say that film helped you to be taken more seriously as an actor when you started going out and auditioning for projects after that?
Well, listen, so Xavier was already became uber famous as a young director, as soon as the movie went to Cannes.
But your performance was quite acclaimed in the film.
Thank you. And on Tumblr.
And on Tumblr. Yeah. Listen, you got to start somewhere, you know what I mean?
So I got to travel they would send me, they sent me to Palm Springs Festival and AFI Fest. And the distributor of the film came with a friend of his who's still my agent. It all happened very quickly after that. I think I was just incredibly lucky very early on. I think my first self-tape ever was for the Borgias that I booked in opposite Jeremy Irons with Neil Jordan directing.
I love that show, by the way.
It just happened to come out at the same time, the same year, the same month, I think, as Game of Thrones, which completely
sucked all the air. Interesting.
People are still watching it, I think. It was on Netflix for a long time. I don't know where it is. Paramount Plus.
As long as it doesn't get wiped from the internet.
Can't suffer the same fate as Real Housewives of
New Jersey. Season 1. Yes.
But yeah, so I was incredibly lucky to have that kind of opportunity so early on. They flew me to London to meet with Susie Figgis, the casting director, and Neil Jordan, whose movies I was such a fan of, like The Butcher Boy. And then they flew me there again to test with Jeremy Irons, that is. We're on first name basis now. Sir Jeremy? No, he's not a sir. He's not a sir. I think he said he'd turn it down.
But it's like he emanates sir energy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I was brought in to test for Pirates of the Caribbean that Sam Claflin ended up booking. I was just in those rooms very early on. And in a weird way, it made me think that this was going to be like an easy ride.
How would you describe the ride?
Full of ups and downs.
Beyond that, though, it's like you are a true working actor and you've been a working actor. And so I imagine if you're young and the pursuit is to do this, you've been quite successful throughout your career of doing this.
I think my idea of success changed very much like during those years. I think then I was very seduced by the idea of the result, like me as a movie star, or like me on the poster and be in the movie. And because like that didn't really happen for me, it changed my definition of success. Because I was like, if I'm going to keep doing this, it can't be goal-oriented. I have to, and I always did like the process, but like I started like not giving a fuck about the result at all. And just like showing up on set, like sticking to a work ethic that I believe in, and making friends and enjoying the moment, and I think it's made me a better, freer actor. People are asking like, "Oh, would you expect the Heated Rivalry to do this well?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't think about it."
Also, to think about it, what would it get you either way? If you thought it would be successful and it was, great.
Yeah.
If you thought it wouldn't and it was, great. Like,
There's no point.
I imagine you're getting asked the same question a lot, or the same.
Not by you. Not by you.
Not
You're
by
an
me.
original.
Doing my best, thank you. But I have compassion for those who ask those questions. I don't say it in the derogatory sense, because I understand, especially you're doing a lot of quick interviews, right? Where it's on a carpet or a junket, they only have a few minutes. And
What's the workout routine?
Yeah. What's the workout routine? Can you believe this show is as successful as it is? And so I'm wondering, how have you learned to flex the muscle that is responding to those questions and taking them seriously, while also in your head kind of having to cycle through what I imagine is like a this again kind of feeling?
There could be 100 people in a room.
Yes. Yeah, you just got to find your Gaga.
You got to find your Gaga, your inner Gaga. I don't know that I did or do or whatever. I try to respond like as honestly as possible, and also to like reinvent myself a little bit so it doesn't sound like like entirely like Gaga.
Does it at all feel a little bit like the Truman Show in a sense of like you're in these interviews, new environment, but it just kind of keeps repeating?
Especially when you're doing them back to back. Sometimes it happens that I'm like, I have no idea if I told that story to the interviewer I'm currently speaking with, or the one I just spoke to 15 minutes ago. I'm like, this would be really awkward if I'm telling that same story for a second time in this one interview. Please stop me if I start.
I haven't heard one.
But you said it earlier. It's just we don't have to sell the show anymore, and so like that's a really like big change in narrative for it. Like there are no talking points.
And most people that you're talking to uniquely have seen the show, because you and I both know in this line of work, often the person that you are in conversation with might have been given a few bullet points about your work without having seen it.
They don't watch the show.
They seldom watch the show, and they seldom read the book.
I know.
Yeah. We talked about how green you are. You are 40 years old.
Am I? Yeah.
You are 40 years old.
I was 30. I was in my 30s when I shot the show.
I want to zoom into the virtues of being 40-something.
40-nothing.
40-nothing.
Get it right, Evan.
How long have you been 40 now?
4 months.
Okay, so
5 months.
5 months.
6 months.
6 months. Don't shortchange it.
It's 6 months.
In your 6 months of 40-something dumb.
40-nothing dumb.
40-nothing dumb. In those 6 months, what have you learned so far, and what are you most excited about in your 40s? You know what's funny? I was at the Seth Meyers taping yesterday, and someone in the audience, he was doing crowd work to warm everybody up at the beginning, and a 20-something raised her hand. She asked for Seth, like, what's most exciting about as I enter my 20s? And he was like, well, actually, the best thing about entering your 20s is knowing that your 30s are to come. And then someone was like, well, wait, I'm in my 40s. He's like, well, no, the 40s are even better. And so I get the sense that's just like life continues to get better.
Like my 40s so far have been pretty great. I don't think I've met a person at 40 who actually wants to go back to being in their 20s. I mean, maybe they want like the face, but I also don't. Like I'm fine.
Yeah, the face looks good.
You think? The good thing is knowing just like yourself more and more, and I think that especially as like when you decide that your life is to become other people, like there's so much more you can use. And you're not asking me that question, but people ask it to me all the time. Like, what advice would you give like a young actor? And I never know what to answer.
I hate advice.
But I have it now. Or to my like young self too. It's just like live your life. Like just do things. Like see movies, like get your heart broken, like travel, like do it. I mean, it's so useful to, I don't know. Like that's what that's why I wouldn't go back.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like you were doing the very thing that you would give your younger self advice on successfully.
I am doing it, you say?
No, you were doing it. Like you were saying, see movies. You were seeing movies. Like it's interesting. I don't know. I'm so advice averse.
Yeah, you're right.
Just in general. I'm not
Okay,
dinging you.
take it back. Cut it out.
No. I'm not dinging you. I'm just saying in general, it's like I feel like people are too often in search of advice as opposed to just seeking out examples of people doing things that inspire or motivate them. That's sort of where I go to, because when people ask me for advice, I'm always phoning in the response. Not that people are like seeking advice from me, but I'm just saying it's like I don't have like that one thing I just look to.
I'll
like,
take some advice from you. What's
you
your
don't need
advice
any.
from me?
You don't need any. But I'm just always looking towards like someone who I respect or admire, and I'm looking at how they did it. But even then, I wouldn't go to the people I admire and be like, tell me the wisdom. I'm like, they've led by example. I will look to their example. Okay, what are you currently watching?
Pluribus.
Did you finish?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what's interesting. To me, the narrative has been Heated Rivalry saved 2025. I agree. Asterisks. I really feel like for me, what saved 2025, and I don't even know if it was altogether saved per se, was the combination of Heated Rivalry and Pluribus in conjunction with one another.
What does that mean? How do they like?
Because they both aired at the exact same time.
But what about each thing?
Well, they're both queer stories.
Even like to say queer stories for me, like it's not even something that registers. I watch Heated Rivalry, I forget that it is.
Yes.
It's a love story.
It's an arbitrary categorization, but it's a distinction that matters. Yeah. I understand the idea of do we want to lead with that being a thing? No.
And you see how limiting labels are because I don't know, like a queer story makes it sound like it's for queer people.
Right, okay. They were two shows that I loved that centered
around queer characters.
And they were the two best shows that I watched in 2025, so I'm glad. The numbers all tell you everyone's watching Pluribus, but I want to say right now, I don't think enough people are talking about Pluribus. Heated Rivalry takes up a lot of oxygen.
I don't know if it's just like my algorithm or if it's...
I don't know. It's like, I can't... You can imagine. Okay, Pluribus.
Yeah, so Pluribus, I try to go and see movies on the big screen. I mean, it's so tiresome to like say this, but like this is truly what I loved. Even in spite of my education being from the video store, I did go to the movies like 4 times a week then too. I've seen like so many incredible things. Sentimental Value, I loved so much.
So good.
All hail Renata and Joachim.
If you were distributing the Oscar for Best Picture to your Best Picture, who are you giving it to for 2025?
I mean, one battle after another was just like a cinematic orgasm.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's not a movie that like moves me particularly, but just as a kid who like loved movies, I'm just like in complete awe of it. I can't believe it. I'm in the theater and I can't believe it's happening.
Yeah.
Like just the movie making itself. Like, but it's not the movie that like moved me the most. Another one, I think my favorite like other studio movie this year was Weapons, which I've seen a few times.
Tremendous. Have you seen Barbarian?
I've seen Barbarian.
To me, it's like Weapons is a great, entry point to then go back and check out Barbarians, which leads me to, if you were to choose one François credit on your resume for people watching to go and check out, one that you're particularly proud of, a performance of yours, what would you have people seek out?
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to say two things because my top one is Fuck Toys, but it's not. They can't go and see it now because it's still seeking distribution. I'm working real hard.
How can we help in that?
Tell all the Heated Rivalry fans to like call Neon and Mubi and A24.
So is it like a matter of like it's like people tweeting and saying?
Well, I think so. Like we want to see this. This deserves to be seen on a big screen. Like they've had streaming offers, but Annapurna is a purist, and it's such a joyous, like crazy, and it's like watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like people like throwing popcorn at the screen, like howling. It's amazing to see with an audience, and I think that movie deserves that. And also, like my friend Annapurna directed it, and she trusted me with a character that's so. I mean, I have that hair in the movie, and big like I'm a DJ rapist who can't get it up. So it's like a wild departure from who I am. from like other stuff that people have asked me to play. And then there's a sweet movie that I did with Lily Taylor a few years ago called The Winter House, and it's a movie that was made for like $500,000, and it's just the two of us in a house talking, but it's it's not like a forceful like cinematic vision. It's just really like, it's not a filmed play either, but it's just two like really interesting human beings discovering one another, and that's like kind of what I'm always looking for in the script.
And is that available on streaming?
That's available the Winter House. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks. How'd this go for you?
Great.
You happy?
Are you?
It's not about me.
It seems like it's about the two of us. Like I said, like it's energy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
You're happy?
I'm happy.
Okay, good.
Thank you so much. This was a pleasure.